Drone delivery in Metro Atlanta is about to take another leap. Retail giant Amazon is planning to launch these drones in Atlanta soon. It will use Amazon Prime Air MK30 drones. Some of the advantages of the drones, they say, people may receive their packages faster. The drones can also provide easier delivery access to hard-to-reach areas, and there would be less truck traffic on the streets. And coming up on the news at 5:30 tonight, we are asking Amazon Air representatives exactly how this new technology works.